Hey guys, this is a Transformer Gundam. Today I'm going to be looking at all of my customs. Let's do this. That's right, I got another request by Sub-Zero, or also known as Afskinder. I might have said your name way wrong. On Instagram, he requested for me to review some of my custom kits, and I thought, screw it, if I'm going to review them, might as well take them all out. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be really reviewing them, I'm just going to be, taking a look at each one from my first custom I ever did to my latest one, which I'm currently working on. So yeah, we're just going to take a look at these guys in the order of which I built them. And yeah, so let's get this thing started. So let's get started with my very first custom I ever did, the first grade RX78-2. This I painted about 2 years ago, and at the time, you might be able to see before I tried covering up, I called it MH15, which MH are my inertials, and 15 was how old I built this kit. And yeah, so now I'm 17, so that was 2 years ago. Basically, all I used for this kit was Gundam markers. That's it. Got red, blue, some black. And yeah, I mean, pretty crappy paint job now that I look at it, but at the time, I thought it was pretty good, and I was pretty proud of myself. But yeah, oh, and I even got some yellow in there. Wow. But yeah, this is my very first custom I ever did, and it's actually gone through some changes because I posted this on my Instagram at Gundam Collector. Go follow me if you haven't already. But when I was first starting, I posted a picture of this guy, and some people were saying that he looked like Optimus Prime, and so I decided to dub him RX78 Prime. So that's where these come in. I can get some light on it. Yeah, my really badly drawn Autobot logos. Like, you can see that one actually didn't turn out too terribly bad. You can kind of tell what that one is, but on his other shoulder, ugh, I don't even know what happened there. But yeah, so RX78 Prime, MH15, or just first grade RX78, whatever you want to call him. But this was my first custom, so now let's go on to my next one. Now for my next custom, I got my Master Grade Shiny Gundam, which is actually still one of my favorite kits to this day. And I don't really know if this would be considered a custom, but I did do some custom paint on him, mostly on the inner frame that you can, well, of course he falls apart when I do videos. I mean, what kid doesn't? But anyways, you can see that I painted the inner frame gold, painted some other parts gold, like on the inside of the waist there, and the shoulders, which I think turned out really awesome, and of course the face I also painted gold, like the face plate and all of these parts. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty good for my second custom. This is also my first time using spray paint, which surprised I was able to get this good of results because, man, some of my other kits that I use spray paint on, it does not look this pretty. And you'll see as I go on to some of my other kits. But yeah, let me just get his arm. And yeah, that was always a problem with my kit for some reason, is that his arm didn't like to stay on. Don't know if that was a problem with other Shining Gundam kits, but yeah, so see if I can, yeah, I don't, there, it's good enough, and it might fall off again, but yeah, this is my Master Grade Shining Gundam, and my second ever custom kit, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I mean, might as well include them. And this was also my very first review on YouTube, so yeah, go check that video out. I've actually reviewed a lot of my customs already, so, and this is one of them. So if you like this guy, or if you want to see my very first video, then yeah, go check it out. So let's move on to the next custom. So next up I have this kit, which I like to call my first custom spray paint, because this kit I fully painted using just spray paints, and oh man, this kit, God, gave me a lot of trouble. Like, you know, everything you're supposed to do when you spray paint, right? I basically did the complete opposite and screwed this guy up pretty bad. Like, rule number one of spray painting: don't spray the parts when it's on a tree or plate or whatever you want to call it. And I did that. Rule number two: don't spray too close to the parts. I did that. Rule number three: always use primer. Again, I didn't do that. And yeah, it turned out like this. So I mean, from far away it doesn't look too bad, but then when you get up close, you can just see the paint, how it clumped together. It just looks really bad. You can especially see it on the legs, like right there. It's just hideous looking. But I didn't know any better when I was painting this guy, and yes, I called him at the time the Oragi Sea Guy. I probably said that way wrong, but basically what that means is Orange Justice in Japanese. But yeah, for the colors I just used a pumpkin orange, I think it was, and a burgundy. And I mean, I think the color combination looks pretty good together, but it's just, I fucked this guy up super badly. But yeah, I mean, I still got compliments on this guy. And honestly, I mean, he doesn't look that bad. He can look a lot worse. But yeah, this was my first spray painted kit, and my first failure, really. But later on, I decided to do a name change, just like my RX-78 Prime. But I now call him the Blazing Justice. It was actually not my original idea. Somebody gave me that name suggestion. I forgot who it was exactly, but I liked it and decided to stick with it. So now he's the Blazing Justice, I guess. But yeah, oh, and that's why I added the burning finger there. But yeah, that's basically it for this guy, and let's move on to the next custom. So after that, I moved to trying to do some different techniques, such as weathering / battle scarring, and this was my first result with my high grade Wing Zero custom, which you've seen this guy before in my real grade Wing Zero custom review, and might have been in some other videos, I don't remember, but this is my first attempt, and basically it's just a bunch of Gundam marker and scratches with my hobby knife. I mean, honestly, I don't think it looks too bad, but I've been told that yeah, I did a little too much in some places, like on the wings, and I can see what they're talking about. Like, it comes to a point when you are weathering that you don't want to weather him too much. And that's exactly what I did with this guy. I mean, still, he doesn't look too bad. But, I mean, yeah, for my first result, our first time, I mean, you know, it's alright. Alright. But, yeah, that's basically it. I can't really say anything else about this guy. But yeah, first attempt at weathering / battle scarring, and it turned out alright. So let's move on to the next kit. Now for the next kit, I also did a review on him. This is the Nebula GM, which is the GM Command Space type, which I basically painted up and souped up with a bunch of different weapons. And this was my second attempt, or well, technically third if you count the Shining Gundam as my first attempt at doing a spray paint build. And I think it turned out pretty good. I had to repaint some of the parts, like the chest. I mean, it still looks pretty bad, but this is also my first attempt at stripping paints and repainting, and it's not the best, but I mean, I think I did a pretty good job on the legs. I didn't know how to do a seam line removal at the time, so you can see those big loose seams going down the middle of the legs. But I mean, this is, I think I can say, my first successful custom. Um, I mean, yeah, he can use some improvements, but I think he turned out pretty good, in my opinion. Um, this cannon I took from my old high grade gun cannon, and I can still move it and stuff, so I was pretty proud that I was able to get that. And also, this bazooka came from Zaku 2. I think it came from maybe the Thunderbolt version, and this backpack also came from the gun cannon. But yeah, this is the Nebula GM. I have a review up for him if you want to see more of this guy. And yeah, so let's move on to the next custom that I've done. Now this is my next custom, and this is my second attempt at trying to weather slash battle scar kit. And this is my master grade Blitz Gundam, and this one I'm actually pretty proud of how it turned out. I think it turned out pretty cool. This guy has been in some of my videos, like I think it was you saw him briefly in my Let's Build of the action base. But yeah, I basically used the same technique as I did the first battle scar, but this time decided to actually take off some armor, you know, to show some of his like inner frame and stuff, and I think it just really adds to the battle damage look, especially like on the arm there. It's missing part of the armor there, on the waist, the leg, and I think it looks pretty good, and also and the chest there. But I think it looks pretty good, and looks like he's been through hell and back, which I was trying to go with, especially that shield. Love how that turned out. And yeah, I think this guy looks pretty good in my opinion. So that's it for this guy, the Battle Squad, or Weathered, whatever you want to call it, Blitz Gundam from Gundam Seeds. So now let's go on to the next one. Up next we got probably one of my favorite customs. This is the RE100 Mark III, or as I call him, the Mark III 2K. Now this guy is special because I built this guy when I reached 2,000 followers on my Instagram. So yeah, I decided to you know, make a big project and paint him to celebrate me reaching 2K, and yeah, and this was the result of it, and I think it turned out really good, and this is probably one of my proudest customs I've done so far. I think I might have shown this guy off in some of my previous videos. I forgot which ones exactly, but for the colors I used a global blue for these lighter blues here throughout the body. The darker blue is just a true blue, and then of course white throughout, and that's basically all the colors I used, and I think it turned out pretty good. And on the side I wrote Mark III 2K, and also right here I put Mark III 2K, and I also wrote 2K there. And yeah, so this is the Mark III Gundam. Pretty cool design. He's actually a pretty tall kid as well, especially with the backpack. But yeah, so that's about it for this guy, and now let's move on to, well, the next kits. Sticking with the weathered slash battle scarred theme here, the next kit I've done was the high grade battle scarred or weathered GM, and this is probably my best custom and the one that I put in the most time and effort into. This was my first hand painted kit, and I used like some other weathering techniques besides just, you know, scratching and stuff. Like I used a rust effect all throughout, which I made a tutorial on how to pull this off if you want to check that out, and I also made a review on this guy. But I think this is, as I said, my best work. I think the rust effect turned out pretty good, and for my first time hand painting, I think it looks pretty good, as I said already. And yeah, you know, I also went in with some gray to roughen up the red areas in some bits. Put a crack through the visor that you might or might not be able to see. I think the camera's picking it up pretty well. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good, especially that shield. Looks like a beam saber or like a heat axe went through it. And yeah, if you want to check a review out on this guy, just go check it out on my channel. And yeah, so let's move on to my latest custom I've been working on. Before I get to my most recent custom, there's actually one guy I forgot to mention, and I also forgot to put him in the thumbnail. Poor guy, but forgot to mention my high grade Barbados or Barbados. And this guy you might have seen before. Like, I think I might have shown him off in my 1 year YouTube video or one of my other videos, but this is the high grade Barbados, and basically all I did for this guy is I painted him using a blue Gundam marker and a silver paint pen, and also I used the gold Sharpie throughout to add in some gold details. And yeah, that's basically it for this guy, and I think he turned out alright. I mean, if you look up close, you can see like where I used the marker, like when I painted it. Like, you can see the strokes where I painted it, because when I painted with marker, you go from this way. You can kind of see it through there. And like in some areas in the silver, you can see the marker strokes and stuff like that. But I think it turned out alright. And yeah, so without further ado, let's move on to my most recent custom. So for my latest custom, this is the high grade or Vive RX-78-2, which you've been seeing this guy in I think my 1 year subscriber video. I had this guy a progress update where I just had the chest, head, and arms complete, and now as you can see I have completed painting the full body. Oh, and the backpack, which I took off. But this guy is still not completely done. I still plan on adding some things to it. Like, I plan on adding some wings, which already have some ideas for that, which I'll show you. These are wings that I just took off my old Blackbird model kit that I happen to have. And this one I already painted, this one I haven't, but basically I painted the black already. Oh, and I masked off this area, and now I gotta mask off this black, and I'm gonna go in and paint this with the purple. So you can see the area, you can kind of see where I masked it off. You can see that's the lighter black, and then the darker black is the area that I painted. And basically, I haven't figured out which way I'm gonna put the wings in yet, but like there's something like that, or maybe have them facing, you know, like that way or this way. Still haven't decided which way the wings are going to be facing, but I think these are going to work pretty well for wings for the RX-78 Skywarp, as I'm now calling him, since this guy does, well, Skywarp transforms into a jet, and I want to make this guy look as much as possible as Skywarp, and of course what's Skywarp without his wings here. So, and for attaching these, I have some ideas. I actually took some of the attachment points from the high grade Wing Zero. These were for his back wings, and I decided to take them off and use them here somehow. It's got a peg here that can rotate, which I think will work pretty well, and I can just glue the wings onto here like so, and then this can attach like can't speak, but I was thinking about drilling some holes into the backpack, like one here maybe, and that is so I can attach the peg into those holes, and so I can move the wings around a little and they won't be stationary, and I can take the wings off whenever I want. And something else I was thinking about that I realized when I took off the backpack is that there are actually 2 holes already there, but the problem is that these pegs do not really fit inside the holes that well. As you can see, I mean, they can kind of stay in, but they don't really stay in that well. Like, I was thinking maybe if I can shave the peg down a little, I might be able to fit in better. But I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to try to drill some holes in here, which I've never actually done that before, so that's going to be new if I do decide to make holes, or if I just somehow use these 2 holes that are already here. But yeah, expect more videos on this guy once I actually finish building him, which he's pretty much already complete. I just got to add some wings, and I do want to get some Decepticon decals to put on him. Just got to find where I can buy those. Oh, and if you're wondering how I made his no rays, these guns actually came from my high-grade Rick Diaz, and basically what I did was I shaved down the, well, I took off the handle because there's like a handle right here, and I shaved down the bottom part of this. I made my own peg from a sprue, and I just took part of the sprue, glued it on here, and they actually fit into these holes on his arms pretty well. I mean, it's not the best connection in the world, but it works pretty well. And now he has his signature no rays that that Skywarp has. I mean, I still haven't painted the Gundam's weapons, but that will be up next, as well as adding the wings. But yeah, the main body's been completely painted up, and I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it's not the best paint job, but like, I tried new stuff. Like, I did mask this part off, so I can have the purple here and the black going throughout the leg, and I think I did a pretty good job on the masking. I mean, it's not the best. Like, as you can see here, the black still kind of got through to the purple just a little bit, but like, from a front view, I think it looks pretty good. And yeah, oh, and if you don't know what masking is, basically you cover like a part of the part that you don't want to paint, or like if you're trying to do like a dual color thing, you would cover the part with tape, paint the first color that you want, then you cover, once that dries, you cover that part with masking tape, or in my case, since I didn't have that, I just used some electrical tape, which surprisingly works pretty well. Just cover the part that you don't want to get ruined by your next color, and then you paint that part, and then once you peel off the tape, you will have the 2 colors here. So yeah, and I think it works pretty well. So expect more videos on this guy once I actually finish building him, and that's basically it for all of my customs. So if you enjoyed this, or if you like to see any of these guys that I just showed you reviewed, or get his own video, let me know, and I'll take a look at any of the kits that you liked in this. But especially watch out for this guy, which I'll do a video on once I finish. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment if you liked any of my customs or got inspired. So that's about it, guys. This is the Transformer Gundam, signing out.